Well, I grew up in a place called Carlisle in the northwest of England, and my parents were quite involved in the community. I have 3 brothers. I was the only daughter, and my father particularly used to have me sit around the dining room table every time there was an election and have me write envelopes. And it was a natural progression for me. I never thought too much about it. It was just something that you did, that it was sort of expected of everyone to do something in the community. Coming to the United States first was really an impulsive thing for me. I had graduated and I was working in Carlisle, in England, and I thought, no, I have to see the world, I have to work, I have to go abroad. So the opportunity came up for me to apply to come to the United States. I spent a year in Chicago, went back to England, and then returned to San Francisco. While in San Francisco, I met my husband, and I sort of never left. I mean, I've been back and forth to England many, many, many times, but I settled here with my husband, who is from Japan. I got involved with the Japan Society because I wanted to learn a little bit about my husband's culture. It's been very good for me. I've enjoyed it very much. And then I also wanted to be involved with my own culture. So I joined the British American Business Council and subsequently joined the board of the British Benevolent Society, of which I'm still president of, in San Francisco. It was a sort of contrast to what I'd been doing because once we moved to Millbrae and our children started going to school, I became really heavily involved with all of the schools that my children were involved in. And again, it just seemed a natural thing to do. The city had decided after a successful Lunar New Year festival that a Japanese festival might be a nice addition to the community. So 1 or 2 of us in the community who had connections with the Japanese culture were contacted, and we formed a committee, and we've never looked back. That really has brought me back to being involved much more deeply in the city, and now, of course, with the Sister Cities Commission as well. Well, with the Sister Cities Commission, fortunately last year, of course, we signed an agreement with the city of Hanyu to be a friendship city. Mayor Gottschalk and I were fortunate to be in Hanyu, where we were treated very well. And as you may recall, we had a delegation from Hanyu, the mayor, and a small delegation came over to help us celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Culture Festival. 10 years is quite an accomplishment. We never thought it would last 10 years. And I think last week's festival was very successful. It takes a lot of work by a lot of people. Even though we're a small committee, we depend upon so many volunteers in the community and also the youth. And, you know, one of the goals is really to keep it going and to make it bigger and bigger. There's something about volunteering and accomplishing something that gives real satisfaction. I think, for example, last week's Japanese Culture Festival, we were all literally exhausted. And at the end of the day, after cleaning up, do we want to do this again? You know, the feeling is there because you're so exhausted and you put so much time and effort into it. Everybody has. And yet, you know, in a couple of months, we'll start right back again planning for next year's festival. And I think whenever any group does a project, it's the same feeling. I mean, you face the challenge, you enjoy the people, and you want it to be a success. I live here. It's a very comfortable place to live. It has a small town feel. I feel as if I can go downtown and see people that I know. And it's a very safe community, and I think that those of us living in a community should feel compelled to want to sort of give back to that community. You're working for something more than yourself. You're working for the good of the group that you're working for. So we have an expression in England, and whenever we serve in an organisation, and that expression is, it's not ourselves but the cause. And I think that's a very appropriate saying for any time you volunteer for an organisation. It's not about self, it's about the organisation, and it's about the community. So there's a great sense of self-satisfaction in doing that.